the US, do you find, because the market is biggest in the US, do you find any kind of a problem, bias, positive, negative, once they find out that the company is actually based in India?
Sure, very interesting question. So I'll just share one data point. Earlier we used to have these screen names for all our customer executives. So one guy will be Mike and another guy will be John and stuff like that. And as a behavior, all of those screen names have actually been taken off. So now people use their real name and talk to people. So I think to answer your question, there is a trend in US where people have much greater acceptance for in-house services from India. Absolutely.
When you fake it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a right one. That's exactly why we took it off. So in that sense, the acceptance is very
They get annoyed when you fake it.
Oh yeah.
In the call center.
No,
They know that it's
so that's how the course starts, in the decision-making process.
Yeah.
That's my question.
Yeah. Okay.
So my question is more on the decision-making process, not the process.
The acquisition.
When you are deciding whether to go with the competitor.
We're talking about the same. So in our case, because the purchase decision is actually a very involved one, majority of the customers even before buying it on the site have at least one conversation with one of our attendants. So the sales executive I'm talking about is it's a pre-sales call. And over there it's fairly transparent that it's a company based out of India.
And you know so many. That is not an issue.
That's all.
It won't be an issue. The other thing is that I don't think it is extremely obvious that the company is based in India because a lot of US companies have their call centers outsourced to India anyways. So absolutely. So in the entire engagement, even from that angle, Simplilearn is a registered company in US. It's not as though it's not a company in US. So absolutely.
I think it would be a advantage because the kind of courses you are doing is technology courses, and there is a perception in US that technology then it should be India or Bangalore.
So after video trainers, US or Indian, that is important. The video trainers for US will be US. Yeah, that is absolutely. But training is not something where people will compromise because accent issues obviously are a dampener in the So there we, in fact, we not even experiment with that. It's a de facto that you have a.
You have a difference. It's the same course like PMP for US would have a US instructor and online course, and the Indian course will be Indian. You have two versions.
So the pure online learning is always UK English, which is the standard.
Two different versions, right? One is pure online, another one with a video conference.
Correct. So pure online is standard content across the world, which is UK English for India or for any other geography. The
virtual class is it like the Indian person would have voiceover or the UK person?
UK person. It's always an expat who gives a voiceover for the online content because we want to keep it standard across the world. Obviously comfort with accent across the world is different. So we would like to keep it standard. For virtual classrooms, which is a webinar format, over there we have country-specific trainers. So you
That's not a webinar, or it's online as well. It's
online is something that comes with all packages. So even if you take classroom, online is there. And the classroom is kind of a 2-day workshop at the end of it or a 4-day workshop at the end of it to complete.
Contact person.
What is webinar? So webinar is also part of your course. So it's an online webinar as well as classroom. Is it like?
Yeah, so but there are 3 different materials. Online is pure online, there's nothing else. Then you have virtual classroom, which is webinar plus online, and then there is classroom, which is online plus classroom. Not all 3. Webinar will not be there.
Are there any geographical challenges that you face in terms of, because technology, say probably in US would have been much evolved as to compared to some other jurisdictions in a developing nation. So have you seen those challenges in terms of what we get out somewhere else may not be in other jurisdictions, because the technology is yet to catch up, and there is
definitely there are such cases. So in fact, even certification bodies or the nature of certification at times is very different across geographies. So to take the example of project management, you have PMP, which is famous in US and most of the world, but UK has its own certification called Prince2. So in that sense, there are geographical differences for sure.
Just a last thought and last discussion that happened in terms of who is speaking on the demographical challenges. I think in terms of I think it was partly responded to the kind of people you're catering to. Probably for them it's not an issue, right? Because we have seen talking about a totally different sector. Like Apollo Tyres were trying to acquire Cooper, right? And that did not happen because this one was one of the reasons. Like Indian company acquiring it was entity. Right. Even Tata's actually had faced a lot of challenges when they acquired JLR.
Right.
And similarly, Assam is facing issues in Europe.
Sure.
So I think it boils down to who are the target audience, and I think that's what the key is.
So actually, from the US, do you find that the customers are actually of Indian origin, based US? Basically, they are actually
Yeah.
regular,
That's right.
quote unquote, the white US people.
It's across, so we would have Indians from US obviously taking it, but there's no focus on that audience at all. It's completely across, and this actually reflects in our testimonials and user reviews as well. It's completely, it's across all racial classes inside US. There's no focus there.
Tell us some of your future plans, and do you want to be a listed company eventually?
Sure. So we definitely want to list at some point in time, but in terms of future plans, that's not something that we are thinking of right now. The
Expansion.
focus is more on growth and scaling up. But there again, so just one announcement. So we'll take the last few questions. We've got tea waiting for us in the next 5 to 10 minutes. So we'll just.
So how about this 30 hours?
I'm sorry, I'll just complete this one. So, on the question on growth and next steps, this is again a question that I would want to open up to you guys before coming to that. So, we definitely have some plans, but from whatever we discussed so far, what do you all feel are some of the big ones? What are the big buckets? I'm saying, putting each of you into the shoes of the company, if there were top 3 bets that would be huge, what would they be? It would be amazing for us to just get a sense of that.
I think you can look at something like the LinkedIn model, talent management and talent acquisition.
Okay.
You said it's not your core right now, and you just do an API thing. Maybe you can build up on that because there is a demand for such things, and a lot of HR people are actually coming on LinkedIn now and looking at resumes and referrals and all that happening there. When you follow companies, I actually have companies writing back to me when I try companies and follow.
Right.
And in talent, large companies have outsourced their talent acquisition.
Interesting.
Yeah. So those people contact you on behalf of that large company.
Got it.
Yeah. So they kind of screen you first on your skills and everything. And once they feel you're suitable for that company, then they pass you on to the HR of that company. So talent acquisition, that's something you can look at. And somebody suggested this earlier in the room.
Right. Yes.
As a growth area, as a new area.
Yeah.
Do you have API model in this? Like some other portal wants to put your courses as an API, not with their own branding, our branding kind of thing,
So that's something that we are not exactly as an API, but we are launching our courses on some of the other platforms. For example, some of our courses are live on Udemy, which is a book. And over there, so it is completely branded as Simplilearn. We are never open to white label selling. We never provide a credit for that. As long as it's being sold under the Simplilearn brand, we are happy. So we are getting into such profit.
We are not revenue sharing model is currently.
Exactly. Yes.
How to spell the Udemy?
UDEMY.
So there is any more G?
MOOC is just massive online course.
Okay.
It's just a term for
You can use search on MOOC and you will get Wikipedia where all this Udemy, Coursera, everything you will get there. So that's it's really easy for you.
Yeah, I think you
About what I was asking.
I just want to
Yeah, sure.
About 30 hours of duration of the course, like how do you count, like whether it's a online seminar, 30 hours, or it includes the webinars, like how do you count this 30 hours?
Actually, all of it is counted separately. So typically, our courses have about 24 to 30 hours of e-learning content, the online learning content, and whatever is there
The live.
Yes, so the live webinar and the classroom would be separate. So the way the course would be positioned is that you have so many hours of online learning, and along with that you get a 2-day workshop at the end of it, or a 2-day boot
And
camp.
the actual classroom session.
Actual classroom session, or actual live webinar. So
Do you manage? Sorry,
Yeah.
remember my question. So do you manage your users? What do they do post your course? Do they still feedback to your course whether they completed the certification and so on? Do you manage the
we
user?
do that is something that we strive for. But in terms of data accuracy, we do not get 100% of information, obviously. There are people who are not reachable and stuff like that. But yeah, we do strive to get a sense of what percentage of our people actually appear to the exam, got the certification and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
I'm
that-
thinking that will be very useful to even translate that to external companies, for instance.
Sure, so that's definitely an important metric from a lot of different angles. It also gives us a sense of what is the primary learning behavior. Are people coming from learning or are they coming from certification? So that itself is a big difference between the people. So the broad percentages actually vary a lot across courses as well. And we can actually use that information to tweak our marketing pitch. Because let's say there is a course where 90% of the people get certified, then we know that certification is the pitch. But if let's say it's only 20%, then we know learning is the pitch. So those kind of data points are important. Yes.
How do you see most of the Indian customers, like whether they more intended to get certified or the learning is the main objective or certificate is the main objective?
Sure. So there in India is actually not the way we look at it, because what the data shows is that whether it is India or US, this variance is across courses rather than across countries. So in India we have certain verticals where the behavior is certification oriented, there will be certain verticals where it is more learning oriented, and the same for US. So in that sense there is a country specific behavior. It's more a course specific.
So age group also it matters, right? In India, the age group is more younger compared to US age group.
Not really. So this again is something that varies course by course rather than geography wise. So you would have, let's say, people for PhD will be late 20s, early 30s. People for BPO will be much younger. So it's more a course wise trend rather than a geography wise.
I don't think of mainframe as one vertical here. I didn't see that.
Sorry,
Mainframe, IBM mainframe is one vertical.
yes, so we haven't looked at that. I mean, it's been considered, but we haven't focused on it yet. Some of the other topics we felt were larger potential.
Yeah, there's serving something.
You briefly own analytics or use somebody else's analytics?
We have both. There are parts of the business for which there is a homegrown analytics system. We mostly use certain third-party tools like GA, ClickTail. So there are a few. There are 4 or 5 tools. But we have a mix of both. We have our in-house system for certain data which is more on our servers, and then we use third-party tools for the.
What is the difference to kind of focus on a core business which is like providing learning and then analytics and use third-party analytics, because that's always, as I say, it should be develop all our things in-house, especially for startups now, or if you have ready-made tools, which for whom analytics is a core.
Absolutely.
What is your recommendation?
So our recommendation and thought process on this is that each question is a business decision, and it's always better to base it on speed. So if you have a third-party tool that does everything that you want, then it doesn't make any sense to build it again. So at the same time, if there is an area which is very critical and you want customization for your business, then you will build it in-house. So for example, for most of the on-site analytics, we have third-party tools. But for our CRM system, we actually build it ourselves. We haven't taken a sales. So in that sense, there are different calls in different areas.
What do you use for your webinars? Do you use third-party services?
Yes, we currently use third-party services. GoToMeeting or WebEx, that's what we use currently. But there are thoughts to build that on our platform, because there's a lot of value in terms of having the learning happening on our platform itself. So that's definitely something that we are looking at in the future. That we want to have our own service for conducting webinars.
What interactivity do you see in this? Do you have a lot of questions coming back to the participants?
Definitely. So there's a fairly active question answer part of the entire learning process, because the number of hours of webinar is fairly large, and to a very large extent they mimic how the classroom operates. So so while it is virtual, but the behavior of people is more classroom kind of behavior. So there were definitely a lot of questions, and we also actively promote that. So once a particular topic of learning is over, then it will be opened up for Q&A for the people who are attending the course and stuff. So we would actively promote engagement and Q&A happening on the website.
I think you have this 24/7 customer support.
Yes.
So how are you, what kind of support you provide?
Two parts to it. One, the basic support on any kind of issue that the person is facing in terms of accessing content or those kind of things, that's always there.
On accessing?
No, so that's what I'm coming to. That learning support is also there. If a person has any subject related question or something there, but over there the response is not immediate. So over there the query will be taken and within 24 hours to 2 days, there will be a reply from one of the experts. So the subject matter experts that we spoke about, many of them are on a constant engagement as well in terms of helping us address queries related to that particular course. And but of course there will be a turnaround time, so that would not be immediate. Any other handholding would be immediate. Let's say someone facing any kind of issue, access learning and stuff, that would get solved immediately.
But this applies to all the courses, like online. This applies to the online courses as well, right?
This applies to everything. Yeah, absolutely everything. They can just call up and ask any question that they have. So they just. So we have a call center here itself. There is always a team to answer the question.
Head office in Bangalore or?
Yeah, this is the.
I saw Mumbai and Delhi also is.
So we have sales offices there, but so 90% of everything happens over here. There will be separate sales offices at various places.
When we specifically talk about Indian market, we talk about PMP courses. There are a lot of players in the market. They say that we are guaranteed to give you the certification guarantee, otherwise money back guarantee or something like that, like the knowledge boards and talent institutions. A lot of people say that within 45 days, if you are taking the certificate, we are guaranteed to pass on the course, if not money back guarantee kind of promise, or they put them into, if they credit happens, that one they put into one more training and make sure that the candidate is following this PMP certificate and things like that. So how would you think?
So we
That's
also
why it's not taking only the 45 minutes or even it can be 100 hours of course around it. It doesn't make sense to pause the exam. We have to have the real exposure at least of 5 to 6 years of project management experience, then only we can be a successful, certified person. So the course also will not help us to pass the exam. So how do you address those kind of?
So actually, I would refer to that. The way the course is designed, we are fairly confident that anybody who does the course well is completely geared to pass the exam. Right. So from that angle, there is a money back guarantee that's there in Simplilearn as well. And essentially, in many cases, it is not even linked to getting certification or not. There are cases where a person comes over and says that I am not happy with it for whatever reason. We would still give money back. So in that sense, it is not, we don't have money back, it is saying that if you fail the exam, then we'll give you money back.
Our belief is that it's not a mistake. Some example, the person might not be having the real exposure on the project management.
Right.
So he come and join for the career purpose project management course.
Correct.
Of course, he may not have some real time question would be asked by the certification that cannot be met by the person.
Correct.
It's nothing about your knowledge or the kind of course material or it's a person's experience on the subject.
Sure. So see, the thing that we believe in is basically that we really put in money back guarantee from a point of view of user satisfaction. If a user is not satisfied with what he got or what he paid, he will come back as an unsatisfied customer and we will take care of that by giving him money back. We don't really link it to success of the exam. So practically what happens is that there may be users who are completely happy with the training. They may fail the exam for whatever reason. And they wouldn't really come back and ask for money back anyway because they are happy with the training. So our entire basis is the user's happiness. If he is satisfied, if he thinks that the training was done well, it was comprehensive, it was reading him properly, then after that what he does with the exam is something that is the next step. So we don't link our money back or any other guarantee with the exam performance. That's something that's up to the user. But we basically ensure that if at any point in time, let's say somebody fails the exam but feels that he failed it because there are questions that were not even covered here, then obviously the examiner is going to come over. So in that sense, which is why we basically say that the course is completely comprehensive. If you're not happy with it, there's a money back for you. So the last thing in the entire course would be the simulated exam, which would be practically a PMP exam from all angles. There will be no difference between the actual exam and that.
In continuation is the same question, like, sometimes the perception of a person is like, okay, this is what I'm going to get from this course. But actually you perceive that this is, what we are going to deliver. So how do you, build this gap in between? Like sometimes you may think that, okay, this is what I expected, but this is what you have delivered, which is, there is still a gap. So I want my money back.
So, see, the thing is that we are really kept the policy open. In spite of spelling out everything on the site, and typically before buying a course, you can read everything, all the chapters which are going to get covered, what's the agenda for the classroom, all of that is there on the site. Because it's a high engagement decision, so we put all the content accessible for a person. In spite of that, if a person is not happy, then we would not really argue with it, say that, we've done what we were supposed to. There would be a money back, but we don't face such issues. So, practically.
What is the percentage?
We don't, because see, the point is that the ticket size over here is very large. Right, so when a person is actually taking a call to spend 5,000, 10,000, 50,000 bucks, he is already a very serious person. He is not a frivolous guy like, you typically face that issue more in e-commerce where you buy a shirt and then say that this button is yellow in color, I don't want it. Right, because the purchase price is so small and it's an impulse buy. Over here, it's a very involved decision. A person is not going to waste his time. He's anyway taking a call to transact with a credit card and pay 10,000 bucks for his training. So chances are very, very low that he'll come back with frivolous excuses. If he seriously feels unsatisfied, then we also want to refund his money because we don't have negative working.
One more interesting observation, which sometimes the job market recession will it boost your business?
That's an interesting point. Honestly, I have never thought about it.
Because it happens because I am from academics. Whenever we have a job market flat, then our market from engineering background will increase.
Interesting.
Because when they don't get a job, then they think that parents start pushing them into continue your learning and try to advance on more knowledge.
Very interesting.
So that happens. I don't know how is the situation with your